significant lamb survival. And the main, they would go out and time events, like how long did it take a newborn lamb to get up on its feet, how long did it take to nurse and so on, the ewe behavior, and try to quantify that. The main thing, the factor that they identified that was most strongly associated with lamb survival was the time from birth to nursing. How quick does that lamb get up and get colostrum in it? And I had a flock of 500 Suffolks at the research center at one time, and my shepherds were not very happy with me. And we put them onto some of these. They've been raising these kind of sheep now, and you know their comment is it's just so much easier because the lambs get up quicker and nurse. They're not having to help the lamb, you know, find the nipple and get it started and stuff, which is crazy for a shepherd to be doing that.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy. So behavior is really important. Okay, I'm taking too long here. So here's where we're at right now. Every year we go out and buy the cod and polypay rams from the industry so that our flocks represent what the industry has. We will produce these ewes for evaluation in 2013 and then evaluate them through several parities. We'll do multiple sire mating in both systems. I really want to know what the difference is between a ewe producing a purebred lamb and a ewe producing a terminal sire lamb. So both purebred ewes and in both systems, we're going to make those ewes to groups of rams, not single sires. I don't want ram fertility to be an issue. We're going to stay out of the pastures even more because we're going to try to do parentage testing on these lambs. So we won't tag the lambs at birth. We can just go out and collect data. Go out once a day and pick up dead lambs. Don't have to tag live lambs. Go out once a day and pick up dead lambs and pull a wool sample or something. We'll figure out afterwards who the sire and dam was. Okay.
How costly is that test?
That cost is, I don't know right now. Do you have it?
I'm not sure.
I'm not up to date on that, to be honest with you. There are systems in place in other countries to do it. I think it's offered here. I honestly don't know how well it works in this country. But the cost is on genotyping is keep going down and down and down. I think what we're trying to do in our case, we're probably going to do this in-house at a research center, and we're going to try to get this down to less than $5 a lamb. Now that's not so bad from a research standpoint, but it's.
But it gives us the data we want if
well, now it's like a commercial operation might be. You say, we're going to stay out of there basically and leave them alone so that we don't mess up the bonding and so on and stir things up. We'll pick up dead lambs so we don't draw predators in. We'll check the waters. We'll do those kind of things, but we're not going to worry about taking care of of identifying lambs to use and messing up the bonding periods. So that's what we're looking at, evaluating through several parities and to be done in a few years. So, here's the advice I give people. This isn't complicated. This is just kind of common sense. Sometimes we lose our bearings a little bit. We need to be using terminal crossbreeding systems, I think. We got to be careful about what we use for sire breeds, depending, I think, on how much labor you want to put into it. We need to be using crossbred ewes. Take advantage of maternal heterosis. That's really big. A crossbred ewe will do a better job in terms of milk production. A little bit of this discussion earlier. I think in general we need to be producing our own replacement ewes so that you take control of the genetics. And that you do that by buying both your maternal rams and your terminal sire rams based on EBVs, or estimated breeding values, or EPDs, whatever you want to call it here. The problem, as you brought up earlier, is where do you go to buy seed stock? Because our seed stock industry isn't doing the job that the commercial industry needs on this. So,
well, really, as far as the maternal ewes, and I'm not trying to upset anybody, but polypay is the only game in the U.S. that's using the EPDs.
The two breeds,
and Qatar.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. The two most active breed associations, not breed associations. The producers from the two breeds that are most active and involved in using NSIP are clearly the polypay and the Totten. And there's a group of, a lot of target producers are up in Wyoming, but you know, that's kind of not a fit for here.
But they'll wait, there's more on the wool.
Yeah.
The target.
Yeah. So that's a problem. You know, I think what happened, you know, it has to be a two-way street, because when I talk to purebred producers, they say they can collect all this data, and then when a guy comes and buys it from them, he doesn't want to see the data, he wants to look at the rams, okay? And I think there's some truth to that. Huh? You agree? Yeah.
And what's the cheapest right here?
Yeah, they want to go out, yeah, okay? And then you talk to the commercial guys, and they say, well, the seed stock guy doesn't have the data that I want, so.
The way I heard that a long time ago
There's
was
two in the stands.
the corn seed salesman asked the guy if he wanted to go look in his grain bin to see what the corn looked like, or did he want to look on the sheet of paper and see what it made heads.
Is it fair to say that this composite Easy Care would also, if you were in a drought or you didn't have the resources for the pasture, that you could put it in a building or that type of system and it produce fine?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's going to already know how to take care of babies. I'm not assisted.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that we're doing there that wouldn't also work in a more confined production system.
I think you can take almost anything to confinement, you just can't take
Confinement back.
to pasture.
I agree.
Now, we've messed up a lot of breeds of sheep that if you turn them out in the pasture, they wouldn't survive.
It doesn't seem to make sense that you could take a pasture land sheep and put it in confinement. You couldn't take a bunch of ones out here and put them in confinement. You have to be wild and crazy.
Yeah.
So my first experience with Roman ewes is they were really athletic, I think is what Schultz said, right?
There's,
Athletic.
yeah, there are very clearly breed differences there. And there isn't a perfect breed out there. The Romanov has its faults also.
I'm not saying it's a fault.
No.
You know, we use them in the barn.
Yeah, they do behave differently. They are high-strung sheep. Okay, they don't like to be isolated. A Romanov ewe doesn't like to be separated out more so than other sheep. But if we try to fit them into our typical production system and not realize what that ewe's innate behavior is, then we're creating a situation that's going to be a problem. That's one reason why they work well in pasture, to stay out of that. We don't deal with that. Maybe that characteristic's actually a strength in the pasture situation.
So in that first year, Bob, you'll have pill, you know, with those ewes, just because you're adjusting them to a new environment. But like when we brought that set of Rambouillet ewes in, and they had been on nothing but pasture all their life, we brought them into the unit. Well, those ewes, you wouldn't know now that they were on a ranch in Southwest Texas for most of their life. Just because now they've adapted enough to the handling and pen scenario and stuff like that, that now they're okay. But I think it's gonna take a little adjustment, but, you know, sheep are one of the more adaptive species that we've got, so.
You know, I didn't know how Rambouillet sheep acted on ranches until I went to New Mexico. And we were driving in, there'd be 10 laying on the road, deer asleep that night. Going down the road a mile, and there'd be a few more. Our sheep were 500 in a mile. They bedded down, they'd all be right there. And because that's how we ran.
I think our Easy's hairlines are improving the longer they've been on pasture and out of the barns. When we get few lambs, we keep active and themselves raised on the pasture, I think they've got a better sense of what they need to do.
The question I have, and it changed, you know, it's one of those things that when you've got heterosis, and as we start looking at this becoming a composite breed, how much heterosis do you lose once you're mating, you're developing your own breed? I mean, you're mating the Easy Care rams to Easy Care ewes.
Here's a little slide to address that. He's asking the question, if we cross, let's say that this is some trait, doesn't matter what it is, growth rate, number born, or whatever, here's the performance of 3 to 8 for the